Ay, mis amores. So it's been a while since we actually sat down and talked, right? It's been a minute. Welcome back to my channel. Doesn't even have a name. I don't even think it needs a name because at this point, we're right here, right? Me, you, yeah. Okay. I really want to start shifting the focus to doing like these one-on-ones to where I'm talking to you guys about relatable topics that I have experienced myself, can give guidance on, and these are solely my perspective. You don't have to agree with me, you don't have to argue with me. This is just my perspective and how I run my life. And I'm going to share with you guys that perspective in an effort to help you or guide you in your life. One of the questions that I received last week did stand out to me. And the question was, how do you deal with toxic family members? I know a lot of us struggle with toxic family members, knowing how to deal with them, knowing how to break away from them, or knowing how to even manage them when you do want to keep them in your life. As for me, I keep things very, very simple. And just to give you a little bit of a background, just so that you understand why it's so easy for me, because I know I'm going to hear it. It's easier said than done. I get it. But because of my background and the fact that I haven't really had a very close bond with my family, you know, I left my home at a very young age. I was probably like 16 years old when I left my home. I grew up in a very toxic household. My father was an alcoholic, abusive, player, child, you know, and it didn't help, obviously, it didn't help also not having a supportive mother at the time as well. So I kind of detached from my parents at a very, very young age. And then when I moved out, it was easier for me to detach from my family. And then, of course, I come from your stereotypical Dominican household, which means most of them are all about the drama, the gossip, the fighting between each other. So again, I just knew at a very young age that that was not the environment for me. That was not the environment that I wanted to grow up with. I knew that I had so many generational curses that I needed to break out of. And I knew that the only way to achieve that was breaking away from my roots. It was putting myself in a very vulnerable state to not have basically anybody to depend on, let alone anybody to run to. So I did. I left and I basically became the black sheep of the family. And I also know that what also played a big factor in me needing to step away from my roots and my upbringing was me becoming a mother. I think that once I became a mother, it became a lot easier because I remember what it was like for me to grow up in my household. I remember what it was like growing up being around family. And I always felt really out of place. I tried to fit in as much as I could, but I really felt out of place. I feel that I was constantly way more aware than everybody else, able to literally step out of the box and see all of the toxic shit that was going around. And it was just a vicious cycle. You know, it was so vicious, and the drama and everybody gossiping about each other. And I just knew I couldn't really be a part of that. Like, I don't like it. I never liked it. And I feel that the only way that they all had anything productive to say or talk about was usually somebody else's fucking drama. And I was not about that. So again, for me to remove myself out of my family, it was very easy. I knew that at a very young age that I needed to be financially independent, right? Because I also never wanted to be one of those to leave my home and then go back to the place that broke me. You know what I mean? Oftentimes when people ask me, like, how do you deal with toxic family members? My simple answer is always, I don't. I simply don't. Again, I'm the black sheep of the family. My family probably sees me once every couple of years, if that. But I'm not, I have no association with my family. And I think that they've had the opportunity to kind of come back into my life, and every single time that has occurred where I was like, oh, they look like they really miss me, they always do some stupid shit to completely disappoint and remind me why I am better off without them in my life. Because I don't play that shit. I don't play about me. I don't play about my time. And I definitely don't ever want my kids to be influenced and, again, be part of or go through the things that I went through as a child, family or not. And it's really that simple. I can't really sit here and tell you, oh, I do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this in order to remove toxic family members. No, I just simply don't. I don't come around them. I don't associate with them. I don't have communication with them. I don't have them on Facebook. Well, that's the family app, right? I don't have them anywhere. I mean, I believe some of them do follow me on social media, but it's not reciprocated because I don't need to know their business. I can't be fake like that. I don't really care. You go about your life and I go about my life. If you want to know about my life, you're more than welcome to see it, baby. I think that baffles people because you might think to yourself like, damn, she's heartless, she's cold. No, it's not that. It's not that. Trust me. I was that very forgiving person at one point. I was that person that constantly let people step all over me. I was that person, and it took me some time to realize that it just was not worth it. And the way that my life has drastically changed without these influences in my life, I mean, it literally speaks for itself. The family that I have today are literally those closest to me, none relatives, believe it or not, none blood related, that have demonstrated time and time again throughout the past couple of years. And I can still count probably in one hand the amount of people those are, but they are my tribe, they are my family. I think that what's even more important is establishing what's important to you. I think that with relationships, whether platonic, whether with family, whether with friends, I think it's important to set a standard, to set like a bare minimum, right? Don't we all want to be respected? Yes. Don't we all want loyalty? Yes. Don't we all want consideration? Yes. Don't we all want consistency? Yes. Don't we all want effort? Yes. So again, you create whatever, and mind you, I just named a few, but you create a standard for what any relationship in your life, right? Supportive. Y'all know support is huge for me. Have these people taken the time to learn your love languages? Again, it's a standard, a bare minimum when it comes to holding and keeping any kind of relationship in your life. And that highly includes family, because family is such a huge influence in your life. So when you have family that constantly betrays you, lies to you, uses you, asks you for money, just is around to ask for favors, constantly gossiping, is constantly not supportive of who you are or who you're with or where you want to be in life. Like, these are things that should automatically remove these people from your life. You have to set a standard for yourself. And I know, I'm gonna hear it. Oh, but that's family, that's blood. Trust me, that justification has kept people in a whirlwind of lies, of manipulation, of gaslighting for most of their life. I still hear adults complaining about family members. Oh, this family did this, my cousin did this, my tío did this. Why? Why are they still in your life? Oh, I don't know, I mean, it's my tío. Cut that motherfucker off. And the people that are not watering you and the best version of you do not need to be in your life. I don't care if it's your uncle, your tia, your grandmother, your mother, your father. I don't care. Because believe it or not, a lot of people don't know how to be alone. So when they don't know how to be alone and highly depend on either reassurance, validation, support, belief, and all of that from people, and then the closest people to them just so happens to be family, but then that's all they have. They don't know about solitude. They don't know that they can live a life without these people. So they continue to take bare minimum and continue to take disrespect and continue to take all the bullshit that they take. For what? Are they paying your bills? Because I would understand if, for example, the youth, right? I know I do have a lot of young people that follow me. I understand that some people are stuck in certain situations, right? Where they depend on their parents for a roof over their head, or where they depend on a grandmother because the grandmother helps take care of their child. There will be people in certain situations, but the point is that you're not stuck. The point is that you always have a choice. And that choice is to get yourself to a position where you do not need these people. To where, again, you evaluate who they are and what role they play in your life. And if they are not helping you grow, evolve, then trust me, it is not your loss. It is theirs. I don't know who needed to hear that. It's not your loss. It is theirs. So when people constantly bring up blood is thicker than water, I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And before I forget to mention one of the most important things, it's also very important for you to become a good communicator. For you to understand what boundaries are. I mean, we can take this topic in so many different ways. But with communication, first things first is learning that the way you communicate might not necessarily be the way that they receive communication and the way that they give communication. That's why people could go on for years, bickering, fighting, discussing the same old bullshit. This person doesn't change, this person doesn't change, because there's lack of accountability, there's lack of communication, both feel unheard, there's no solution because both just want to be heard. If you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to express your boundaries, whether it be your uncle, tia, abuela, doesn't give a fuck. If you don't know how to stand your fucking ground, right? Because you do become mature enough and be at a certain age where you can stand your ground and say, and just using as an example, right? Abuela, I do not appreciate you speaking to me like that. It makes me feel like this. Do you understand? Wait for the response, right? Yes or no? Okay, great. I'm glad you understand. So that means that this will never happen again, right? Wait for the response. Again, it's simple communication. And mind you, again, that's when boundaries come in. Because if you set that ground rule and say, you understand? Yes. So this will never happen again? Yes. But then that person decides to do the same shit over again after acknowledging that what they did to you hurt you, what they did to you caused you some kind of discomfort, and they still decide to do it again, whether it's platonic, friendship, best friendship, whatever the fucking friendship y'all want to call it. It's setting boundaries. The most important thing, though, about setting boundaries that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that when you set boundaries, you gotta be hardcore. You gotta stand your fucking ground. Because if you say, this is the outcome of you disrespecting me again, right? Let's say, for example, you say, you will never be able to have access to my life again if you disrespect me. That means that when you say some shit like that, you need to be able to stand your ground. You need to be able to, that if that person does that shit again, you are going to remove that person out of your life indefinitely. Well, don't be as drastic as me, because I'll be like, don't be as drastic as me, but you can remove that person out of your life. And unfortunately, especially in the Spanish culture, it does take some kind of removal, some kind of ultimatum in order for people to be like, oh shit, she's for real. She won't tolerate that shit. And the only way that you can show that you're fucking serious about your word is by backing up your words with action. Because like a wise person once said, what you allow is exactly what will continue. The disrespect you allow, the deceit you allow, somebody getting loud with you, whatever you allow is exactly going to turn back around, and it'll just be a vicious cycle. Because when you allow disrespect, whether it be from family or not, when you allow people to treat you a certain kind of way, that's already setting the tone for you. That's already letting them know she doesn't know her fucking worth. He doesn't know his fucking worth. Let me see how else I can push these buttons. They know you're not going to go anywhere. And oftentimes family does justify with that. But we're family. Oh, I'm sorry, but we're family. Or if not, you have the repetitive apologizers. It's always a thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I hurt you. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And they do that shit over and over and over. Nah. I've gotten to that point in my life where, again, I'm mature enough where I expect the people around me to have at least close to the maturity that I have, the communication styles that I have, the I don't fuck around about me that I have. You get what I'm saying? Because again, the relationship you have with yourself, because again, the relationship that you have with yourself sets the tone for every single relationship that you have with others. And when people know that you don't fuck around, they are either taking a chance when they try you, or they just will never fucking try you because they're like, you know what? This person is of value. This person I can't fuck around with. This person I could never disrespect because she'll put me in my fucking place. And it's the craziest thing, like, especially for me, because being the black sheep, I sometimes forget that I have family, to be quite honest. So I can go about my life with my little circle and my kids, and of course now my partner, and be fully content with the couple of people that I have in my life. Like, my cup is genuinely full because the people in my life respect me, they love me, they appreciate me, they support me, like, you name it. I'm saying quality over quantity. Use that into that perspective as well. And last but not least, I'm going to put you guys on to something that I've incorporated in my life in the past couple of years. I believe I've shared it with you guys before on like Instagram or something, but I'm going to repeat it and reiterate it here. It's extremely important to incorporate a filter system into your life. Let's think about the analogy, right? You buy a filter, and what does that filter do? It filters out all the bullshit, right? It filters out all the bullshit so that at the end of the day, your cup is being full with clean water, right? Incorporate that filter system into all of your relationships. You heard it here first. Incorporate that filter system into all of your relationships and see if you don't have a better life. If you don't feel better, if you don't feel at peace and joy and just fucking chill. You don't like the fucking ocean. Chill. Peace, serenity. Oftentimes, even people's presence is enough for you, which is fine, right? But what I'm saying is evaluate those that are constantly triggering you. Evaluate those that are constantly making you feel less than. Evaluate those that aren't supportive, that aren't there for you when you do actually need them the most. Just start eliminating those people. Just start taking them out, weeding them out little by little. Oftentimes, people have to experience your absence before they can value your presence. Are you hearing me? Because it does take sometimes, especially when you're always the giver, always the listener, always the person coming through for your family, always there. Oftentimes it takes you removing yourself in order for somebody to really learn how to appreciate you. And that's when you get to make that decision. Now the ball's in your court. I've removed you from my life. I've blossomed. That alone tells you enough. That means that whether they're family or relationship, whatever, that alone gives you the answer you need to evaluate whether this person is worthy of coming back into your life or not. But don't be a fucking fool and have that conversation over and over and over and over again. I'm a huge believer in that people need to value you the first time. So when you incorporate that filter system into your life, you get into the habit of evaluating those around you. Doesn't matter what title they have in your life, and you get to constantly evaluate. Is this person good for me? Is this person not good for me? Learn and have the courage to take that next step. Evaluate your life and those around you. You're going to be in this idle state, and you're not going to realize that the reason why you have not become the best version of yourself is because you've probably been following under the shadow of your family, your mother, your parents, It's probably because you have more supportive strangers than you do your family. You've experienced so much childhood trauma that you have not been able to escape your roots. I think it's time for you guys to reevaluate those around you. And mira, snippity snap snap. Como dice el chacal, y fuera, y fuera. Y'all done asked the wrong one because I don't play about me, baby. But it's taken me years to get here too, so it's all a work in progress, but I'm always a work in progress, and that is the best thing about me. So I hope this helps. I hope this provides some kind of guidance. If there's any specific case scenarios or any other questions that you guys might have related to this topic and you guys want to dig in a little bit more, comment below. And then we'll take it from there, baby. I hope this helps. So, vamos. Se me pone la pila. Let's go.